Councilmember Gaskins.
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council Vice President Egan.
Yes.
Council President Escobar.
Yes. Number 4 is an ordinance to approve a long-term tax extension and financial agreement between the City of New Brunswick and Sterling Side Urban Renewals LLC. This is in reference to 50 Wilson Street and 45 Hassel Street. Do any of my fellow council members have any questions or comments on this particular ordinance? With none, we are preparing to open the public hearing on this ordinance only. We have up to 5 minutes per person, one time up. For any member of the public who wishes to address the council on this ordinance only, please approach.
Good evening, Council. Charlie Prattville, New Brunswick today. Wanted to ask first, is there a representative of the company here seeking the exemption from paying taxes?
No, to the best of my knowledge.
Okay, and it's my understanding this is a senior housing building they want to build? Right, okay. I'm aware that they're subject to a redevelopment agreement with the Housing Authority approved on February 23rd, 2022. And that agreement said that construction would have to begin in summer 22 and completion would be December 23. Obviously, they're not going to build the building in the next 4 or 5 months. What is the new timeline for them to deliver this?
Mr. Dominguez.
Yes. I believe there might be some conflict here between maybe thinking that this is the Hoffman Pavilion project and Sterling Side. Sterling Side is just regular, affordable housing. And if they did anything with the redevelopment agency as the housing authority in February of 2022, I'm not aware of that. That sounds more like it might be more a Hoffman Pavilion thing. If it is Sterling Side, then I'm completely unaware of that. But Sterling Side's timeline, they expect to maybe have a shovel in the ground. Ideally, this summer, their goal is to close on the total of their financing in the next couple of months.
So 45 Hasser is what lot?
Right, so 45 and 50 Hassert are currently, if you were there, next to the Lord Sterling building, which used to be a school, which is senior housing. There's a small part that is a parking lot, very small parking lot, and then gravel. Both of these lots are what is going to be the ground floor of the building of Sterling Side, which is 53 affordable housing units, not senior restricted, which Hoffman Pavilion will be, and so, or Hildebrand Commons as it's now known, and the Lord Sterling building is.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, I can double check, but I'm pretty sure this was a Housing Authority agenda item, maybe not a redevelopment agreement, but certainly an agenda item. And what I took notes on from that meeting was that the completion was delayed. It was already falling behind schedule back then, and just now a year and a half ago they pushed it back and say, well, we'll get it done December 23. I appreciate Mr. Dominguez's response, but what I didn't hear is when will they actually deliver the building? What is their timeline for completion? Not putting a shovel in the ground, but actually opening up and renting out units since we're in a housing crisis.
Mr. Dominguez.
Ballpark 2 years after they start construction. So I would put it, depending on weather and whatnot, late 25, early 26.
With the expectation that nothing else,
Right.
other factors on it that can happen, weather and the economy, COVID, and all of that stuff. So.
Yeah, I'm just concerned with, obviously there have been opportunities to get affordable housing. There's a developer that was approved to build 700 units of housing in the city, and the city specifically let them off the hook and let them build 0 units. And at the time, that was a big issue, and a lot of people were concerned about it, and the city issued statements saying, we've got lots of units in the pipeline, lots of affordable housing coming soon to New Brunswick. This is one of the projects that was cited. And I'm concerned if this timeline keeps getting pushed back, that seniors who need housing aren't going to be able to get it. It's already very tough for people to stay in New Brunswick.
Just to clarify what Mr. Dominguez did say before, she clarified that this is not just for seniors. This is low and moderate income for anybody who's under that category.
I see. So we were both mistaken.
Yes.
Okay. When did that change?
I don't think it changed. I think that...
I was just wrong.
Sterling Side has always
Always
been
been there.
to be affordable housing across the board, families, persons, whatever, all age ranges.
I think I agree with Mr. Travel. I think you're thinking that the seniors, it was Penrose, if I remember correctly.
Well, there's that the aforementioned other building, but I think it may be, if I'm confusing with the first Lord Sterling building, the original school, which is senior housing, as was mentioned. So thank you for clarifying that. Nevertheless, human beings need housing, and there's, if this is going to take years, I don't see why the city is prepared to give an additional extended tax exemption to a company that already came forth and asked you to give one, you gave one, and they didn't deliver the building, and now they're asking you to extend it further. What would happen if you took no action today and let's say, the end of this year, their tax exemption, their 5-year run-up to do the construction ends? They would still be able to build the building, and they would still be able to enjoy a tax exemption for the better part of 30 years, right? It could be 29 years, 28 years. Isn't that correct?
Cannot answer that question.
Maybe Mr. Dominguez could?
I don't think that's something that you can answer. Thank you.
Maybe your attorney could? It's important to know what your options are, and I'd like to know what's the option if you take no action, what happens?
Thank you for your comments.
You're not going to answer?
Thank you.
Wow.
Okay, that's not good decision-making, and I wish you would rethink this and ask the developer to show up and answer some questions so we can actually get them to build this.
Thank you. Anybody else? Second.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Castaneda. Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskins.
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council Vice President Egan.
Yes.
Council President Escobar.
Yes. Then we have an ordinance on first reading, ordinance 072301. It's an ordinance to amend and supplement ordinance 0882-007 to add additional funds. The amount is $2,000 and $10,000. I mean, $210,000.
Oh, move the ordinance. Setting down.
July 19th.
July 19th, same date we have.
Second.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Castaneda. Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskins.
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council Vice President Egan.
Yes.
Council President Escobar.
Yes. Now we have resolutions 1 to 26, except R072323. Do any of my fellow council members have any questions or comments on the resolutions? At this time, we are preparing to open the meeting to public comment on the resolution only. You have up to 5 minutes per person, one time off. Any members of the public wish to speak on the resolutions only?
Hi, yes, Daniel Moore. Okay, I would like to start off with 17, Clean Communities Grant, $78,000 due to her, 46 years living in New Brunswick, never seen New Brunswick this damn dirty before, please.
What is the question about the resolution?
What is going to be clean? What's going to be cleaned in New Brunswick?
What is the fund is going to be used for, right? That's your question?
Excuse me?
Like, if I understood is what the funds are going to be utilized for?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Mawire?
They're gonna be used for education, enforcement, and litter supplies. There's like a very strict rules for the Clean Communities Grant that we get annually for what can and can't be used for the funding. They're mostly volunteer cleanups, so it's depending on where and when the volunteers wanna do cleanups.
Well, I will say thank you to the volunteers, but like I say you council members and Mayor Cahill are 50% of why New Brunswick is dirty. Like I said, you didn't do it back in the day when majority black, white, and a few Spanish. You didn't allow us to do it. Why are you allowing these people to do it now? I mean, please, come on. This is getting outrageous. Walking up and down streets, piles of human everywhere, garbage everywhere. It's not like you can't see it from the curb. But while due to where they're your buddies or some type of relation, it stays that way? Like I said, 46 years, New Brunswick was never this damn dirty, having rodents running up and down the street broad daylight. Please, when are you gonna wake up and see the truth? Like I said, are your buddies that you keep covering for, are they gonna be there to pick you up off the ground? Let's see.
Thank you, Ms. Daniel. Anybody else on the resolutions?
Hello, once again, Charlie Cradaville. I have several resolutions to ask about. The first is ends in 304. It's a contract with Show and Tell Media for public information support and related services. Can you tell me, is there a representative of that company here today? Okay. Do you know who is behind the company? Whose company it is?
Every company who does business with the city is required to file a business registration certificate, and in that certificate it tells who the company is and the principal. So I don't have that BRC with me to inform Mr. Cracker.
Okay, so we don't know offhand who it is. Is it possible it's Stephen Liebman?
Very likely it could be.
Very likely, okay. Well, now we're getting somewhere. So who currently provides these services?
Do we have anybody providing the services at this time?
The council allowed for and approved for these services, I guess it was 3 or 4 months ago for Jaffa Communications.
Right, so that was actually their second contract. I think they got one last February. Jaffe re-upped again this February. Are they going to continue to serve the city, or is Show and Tell Media going to replace Jaffe?
They're going to replace.
And effective when?
Once this is executed.
Okay. And so Jaffe's going to leave the payroll, and just to clarify, Mr. Barrett, Bert is still going to stay the PIO.
They're unrelated matters, but yes.
Okay, well, I mean, stay here. Public information support, so public information officer. They'll probably work closely together.
There's an office.
Okay, just checking. I want to understand who's in charge of public information, given the work that I do. I'll move on.
Change, we'll have to let you know, okay?
Thank you. I look forward to that. So, roof restoration services, 306. Which roof or roofs?
The deputy chief is here, maybe you can speak to that.
Council President, that's the roof over agency quarters on 2 Grand Street.
Okay, the fire department. Okay, 314, 316, and 326 are all involving animal control. And I just wanted to understand the shared service arrangement so I'm clear. New Brunswick is providing the service to both North Brunswick and East Brunswick. Are there any others in the mix, or just those two?
That's correct, it's just those two for him.
Those two, okay. And East Brunswick is new, right? Or
They came on this year, yes.
they just came on, okay. The other two items I wanted to ask about are liquor licenses, 318 and 319, JSM Investments at New Brunswick LLC and SAW Investments at New Brunswick LLC. Can somebody tell me which licenses these are? Might we know them from an establishment? I know they're inactive.
Okay. For number 18, it was Kramer's Corner, and it's been inactive since like 2012. And then for number 19, it was Famous Dave's.
Oh, okay, another blast from the past. And can anybody tell me who actually owns these licenses, or who owns these LLCs, who are the principals?
We don't have that information, Mr. Cracker.
Are you sure? Could we ask maybe the clerk or administration?
I
might
mean, I don't have it
We don't.
here at the moment.
Okay, well, I'll look into that separately. Thank you for answering my questions.
Thank you. Anybody else want to comment on the resolutions only? Hearing none?
Move the resolutions.
Second.
Councilmember Anderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Castaneda,
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming,
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskins,
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig,
Yes.
Council Vice President Egan,
Yes.
Council President Escobar.
Yes. At this time, we're getting ready to start the public portion of the meeting. Anybody who wishes to address the council will have up to 5 minutes. If any member of the public wishes to speak during this public comment portion, please approach the council.
Council members, do they have anything to speak first? No, I thought normally she would ask the council members, were they going to speak first? That's what I was saying.
Go ahead, Ms. Daniel, thank you.
Well, I would like to get back to May 17th, and I'm going to look at Mr. Egan for a reason, due to where I said, wow, there was a purpose of causing for you not to close George Street, or wow, it's still not bringing business. I had said, wow, for each one of you that votes yes, may the Lord bite you in your rear end, because like I said, it's hurting too many ways. You said, God bless me. In a meeting due to where some people say, good, well, I look at him either way. Due to where what? When he said, God bless me to me, due to where sometimes people say, God bless people who think bad, and then you say, God bless the people who think do good. But I'm going to tell you, wow, the truth is going to be on you. Each one of you are going to be bitten your rear end, and not me. Because when I was down here saying, ooh, thank you, Jesus, like I said, I get paid for what I do. People say, ooh, why don't you get out and do a job? This is my job. Whenever I need a blessing, it drops down to you. I prove to you with my back that was one blessing, and I will prove to you again the next day without notice. When I said, wow, I can't afford $300 a month due to where I handle all my rent over there, $2,000 on disability. Wow, to see my bill only $18.37, oh yes, the Lord did bless me. So who's going to get the punishment? Each one of you that said yes, I'm not the bad one. And like I prove that to you all the time. So you can think whatever you want. I don't care. But the man up above knows what I'm doing. I'm doing my job. And then I'm going to get on due to where, yes, I haven't even been to sleep last night. Due to where, yes, sometimes I got to ask them for a break. But something has to be done with these detectives, with these doggone drugs, Xanilane and fentanyl. Too many damn overdoses. What, 3 deaths in Pittman Park last month? What, 4, when you see 4 overdoses in a certain area, 2 hours, what, and made Jeff Monticello have his day, Detective Jeff Monticello, when I said, wow, to another location, I said, wow, are you going to do an investigation? Oh, no, you have to come sign a complaint. But what the hell is New Brunswick Police Department getting paid to do? What, I stood there at the park yesterday, proved to New Brunswick, wow, did I save a woman's life due to where that Narcan does not work? They did CPR through ice on her. They took her from out of the park. I went to the store. I came back with a Pepsi and a soda, and I said, wow, sad to say. I told the officers, I said, get ready for the next one right at the corner of Troop Avenue. Prayers to him. You had another one overdose where they took him away on the life bag. I put him on the video, but like I said, to people to understand, I'm not following. That is the Lord putting me there to help whoever. That's what I'm touched to do. Just as well as Officer Jamel from Dumas can tell you, due to where what? As I was walking down here to save someone, but due to a man, and I showed the video, what I called it in, please get someone on the corner of French and Townsend. You have someone around here walking ready in the street, getting ready to get hit. Please, like I said, I'm not the bad one, and believe me, I will say it in my prayers that each one of you devils do have your day because you're not making New Brunswick better. You're 50% of the problem of New Brunswick, and it's time for you to go. And I will say I'm not really talking to the new members, even though, like I said, you vote yes, but I'm really talking to this as a member for 46 years. Come on, most of these people that's coming over here to overdose, they're not even from New Brunswick. But ooh, they know they can do it. What, how many pictures due to where coming through? It is not Pittman Park. What is George Street across from Eric Chandler by 7-Eleven? What is the train station? Or what, French Street? What, like I said, I walk, try to enjoy myself, but what? Due to where? If that's what I'm a guardian angel to some, I do talk to them, try to help them. Did I save one man's life a few months ago from killing himself down to the river? Yes, I did. But like I said, for you to keep some of you through to, and I thank the community for backing me up where people say, oh, you're just stop, nobody want to hear you anymore. And I thank the community, but like I said, I wouldn't dare want to work with any of you council members, even though I did say I would take your spot. But believe me, everyone who sat in your spot, Suzanne, due to her what became a devil just like you. Mr. Anderson, since he took your spot, he hasn't been happy. Now what, Escobar took your spot, same seat, hasn't been happy. I don't want your seat. I will continue with my job that I'm doing now. And believe me, like I said, I'm getting paid whatever I want. Thank you. It's not all about money. But like I said, may you devils have your day.
Thank you,
Greetings, April Nicholas, 143 Saddam Street. A few topics that I want to address. First, I think noticeably absent from today's agenda is any action to be taken on rent control and reforming the city's current rent control ordinance. That's something that has been talked about many times before. I brought it up. There have been several major actions on it in recent months. Can you give any update on when we can actually expect
As I
to see
stated
something?
in the last meeting, we had just received modifications, proposed modifications, and we are reviewing them at this time. Each individual council member is reviewing them. So it takes time, and we've got to make sure that we understand and that it addresses what we need to address. So I'm hoping that sooner than later that we're going to have it ready for that. My goal is to have it done before August. Why is that in August? Yeah, to have it done. We need to make sure that it's done by then.
Yes, certainly understand it takes time and understand it takes time to do it well. I appreciate at least some general ballpark of a timeline, so thank you for that. I also want to note again that we've seen a resurgence of wildfire smoke impacting air quality here in New Brunswick, making it unhealthy to be outside breathing the air, not just for sensitive groups, but for all of us. On the first occurrence of dangerous smoky air from the Canadian wildfires, the city did take some action to provide some shelter space so that folks who are unsheltered homeless would have somewhere to go outside of, besides being outside in the dangerously unhealthy air. Did the city provide any such accommodations on the recent dates? Okay. And is there
Especially today, this whole is open also. This is COVID.
Great. Is there a set protocol, aside from Code Red, which obviously has to do with temperature, but is there a set protocol for when to make those accommodations available due to the air quality issues?
I know the air quality issues, the same we did a corporate for that too. It was based on the national report, weather report, and taking into consideration that, and the county and other agencies, right, that have the information needed to make that decision. So we looked at all of that before making that. And I'm pretty sure that if there's a need that is such a high, there's an alert, we will do the same and provide shelter for those who are out there who might need it.
Do you know if there's a specific set protocol for, the thresholds for, the air quality that would make those services available, just to make it easier for people to predict when those services will be available and find them?
I'm not sure that this is pretty new in a sense, so that's something that we'll probably have to look at. But thank you.
Yeah, I would definitely appreciate some additional information on that. And then I also want to note, I've been on George Street quite a lot recently, just passing through, and it seems like in general it's not working out as well as we have hoped in terms of the utilization of the outdoor space. That's something I've spoken on before. I'm very much generally in support of the street closure as a concept, but only if it is done in a way that is very inclusive and involving of the community, and I've raised some concerns about that previously. I'm certainly disappointed to see that there's long stretches of space of the road that are closed off, but also just empty, so not being utilized by businesses and also not being used to the benefit of the community. No public seating, no public amenities of any kind. And I will note as well that, just to add a little bit of salt to the wound there, there's only 2 benches, public benches, that anyone who's not buying something from one of the select stores can sit on. Those are the bus stop benches. And one of the times recently I was passing by, there was piles of chairs stacked up in front of the bus stop by the Fat Cactus, because their outdoor seating was completely deserted, and so they stacked up all of their outdoor seating chairs right in front of the bench. So not only is there not any public amenities being added through this closure, but the very minimal public amenities that already exist seem to be taken away in the poor execution here. So I think that that's just an issue to be noted, and I think that this can be done a lot better.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brittany Livingston Avenue. A lot of people that watch this at home, and I'm pretty sure you guys have been keeping up with the sanitation situation with me coming down and speaking. So I wanted to remind you guys about, you remember when that so-called strike happened, and they're still in the process of trying to suspend me for 10 days with no pay. But let me update you on something that just recently happened. So about 2 weekends ago, we had 2 sanitation drivers come on off hours, Saturday and Sunday, and steal a garbage truck out to go pick up illegal garbage for money. So what does that say? It says 2 things. 1, look how desperate you're making your workers have to do things that they know that they're not going to get away with because the yard has cameras and GPS systems. And then the other thing is that look how biased and how much you support discrimination and retaliation. That just shows that you guys show the support. Why do I say that? It's because these particular drivers that did this incident, and possibly they're including little things with the supervisor may have known as well, and also the superintendent of the department, nobody knows anything, but they have wasting the police time to investigate. What is there to investigate if there's cameras and there's GPS systems? They know exactly who's done it. That in itself is grounds for immediate termination. It says that in the contract, it says that in the employee handbook written by the city. So I'm not really understanding how they can come to work freely after stealing city property, stealing time, and they could come to work freely with nothing. However, when I come down here and speak as city council, the very next day, you have Tom Valenti down there handing out paperwork to everybody, threatening if they take off or for the double day or whatever reason that, you're gonna be suspended, and they're watching your days, and how 13 people called out, but only 3 people are up for suspension. So that just goes to show you that the rules only apply to certain people down in the yard, and you guys support that. That's what that shows. Because there's no way that somebody does something like that and they still get to work freely. They haven't been written up. There hasn't been anything. You guys are so-called investigating. I'm not really sure what the investigation is about, like I said before, but, there was some sort of meeting with Mr. Julis, you know what I mean? I don't see you getting rude with them. You allowed one of those drivers to play the supervisor when he was not paid supervisor duties. He was not, the job was not posted, and you still allowed him to play supervisor when our supervisor called out. You allowed him to write people up, which we've had to go to arbitrations for that, because you guys are allowing people to do things down at the job that are against the contract, that are against the rules, and yet and still you guys can do it because you guys are doing it. But if we're doing anything that you feel is out of order, we get write-ups and we get asked, are we good workers or do we have good attendance and things like that. There was an investigation when I brought up the discrimination before, but I have here in my bag at least 9 to 10 sheets of incident reports that and grievances that I filed through the union to show that there was discrimination, and the discrimination at one point led all the way up to me being hurt on the job, but yet and still 2 of the investigators that the city hired couldn't find anything to support the discrimination. So, I find it hilarious that that's what's happening. It's really sad to see that the contract's been open since December. It's now July, and we don't know anything. We don't know anything that's going on, and there's nothing but a bunch of excuses. It's extremely sad. You didn't want to pay the double overtime on Sundays, so you just cut the Sundays off. So you guys got these guys out here acting desperate just to make a few bucks for them to survive. It's really sickening. It's really sad. You guys are biased. You guys have given promotions to guys that some of them don't even show up to work, and they've gotten promotions, and none of that is being looked into. The union pretends that they know anything because they're working for you. We know that because there's no way that somebody stole that garbage truck without permission out of that yard and nobody knew anything. Nobody knew anything. They still are coming to work. Everything's fine. But when Brittany came down there and said one word that you didn't like, you have no proof, you have one word, you threatened to suspend me for 10 days. Is anybody gonna ask Tom Valenti what does he plan on doing about that, other than pretending there's an investigation? Yes, ma'am.
I guarantee you, Brittany, they'll have their day, Mr. Jewish and Mr. Valente. God don't like ugly, they'll have their day.
Is that it, please? Thank you.
Oh, believe me, they'll have their
Excuse
day.
me, thank you.
Devils.
Charlie Prattville, New Brunswick today. I first have to correct some misinformation that I heard here. So it was asked about the city providing safe places to go when the air is unhealthy. I'll note June 29th was unhealthy for sensitive groups. June 30th was unhealthy, period. July 1st was unhealthy, period. Did the city open up anything on those days?
So the best of my knowledge, we had open when there was an advisory, so Mr. Ballard.
You remember exactly?
On those specific days, I don't recall.
Yeah. I mean, if you did, you would have done a Nixle alert, right? Right?
No, there was.
Okay, so this is serious, because there are days now when it's unhealthy for people to be outside for prolonged periods of time, and there were 3 of them, and the city didn't do a thing. So I just don't want people to leave this meeting under the impression that the city has a process in place and they always have us covered, because they don't, you don't.
I just wanted, before you continue, Mr. Ballard.
All right.
I know the city did open, so I'm going to find out what the days were, because I know that we did provide it.
They opened today because it's 90 degrees.
Prior to that, when the air quality.
The last Nixle alert I received related to this was June 8th. Right.
You check any other sites?
Isn't that where you posted? Where else should I check?
You know that you should be posted, and I said this at one of the last meetings, it was at the social media, it was posted, and the city website.
Okay, so you can find me those posts then.
I've said that I was going to investigate where the days that were open, so yes, because I know for sure that would work. That's the best of my knowledge, so I'm
Okay,
going to shoot.
June 29th, June 30th, July 1st.
I'm going to get you the dates
Okay.
that the city was open.
Those
Is
were
any other-
unhealthy. Yeah, June, exactly. So yeah, June 8th and today are the only 2 times I know of that you opened it up. So I don't want people to leave the meeting thinking that you covered us when it was unhealthy to be outside. You did not.
Thank you.
Last meeting I asked about the death of Markel Williams, who was gunned down in Delavan and Troop. Any progress on the investigation, or are the killers still on the loose?
It's still under investigation. That's all.
Okay. On the topic of poor air quality days, I imagine the answer to the question, do you want more or less of them, is obviously you want less. One thing we can do as community members is take a stand against building new fossil fuel infrastructure that will pollute our air with particulate matter, the very thing that is causing people to be unhealthy and uncomfortable out there. As you know, you support this issue. This is a good thing that you do, is you're against the Woodbridge gas plant. I'm imploring you to get your colleagues on board with this. I don't know who's in favor and who's against, but we should all be on the same page. Certainly, given what we've experienced already, the little taste of it that we got, we don't want more days like that. So please stand with your residents and oppose the Woodbridge gas plant. I really need you to do this, and don't do it for me, do it for your kids, do it for the public, do it for your constituents. I have to agree with what was said about the George Street dining. It looks bad, there's no public seating, there's no bus transit anymore, and it doesn't seem to be a big hit, especially when there's poor air quality. That's another reason to join your residents in opposing that power plant. On Friday, May 12th, a pedestrian was killed, Hidalgo Lorenzo Morales, right near the Wellness Center, Patterson and Kirkpatrick. I tried to ask about this a number of times, but nobody would give me a straight answer, but now I finally got the accident report. It's being treated as a non-criminal matter, so I don't know exactly what happened, but what is the city doing for pedestrian safety such that people walking around downtown don't get killed by moving vehicles? Yeah, I'd like to know about the plans for the Fresh Grocer building. What's going to happen there?
Okay. Bring it down, because I'm going to find out.
Okay, yeah, I mean, why did the city censor the video of the May 3rd council meeting? You censored the entire discussion about Director Caputo living in Cape May. Why don't you want people to know that the police director resides more than 2 hours away from his job? And why won't you answer whether he works from home or works here in New Brunswick? And why won't you answer how much he works, whether he is working a full-time job? Why are you trying to stifle discussion about that? Why did you censor the video of the meeting? Shouldn't the public be able to know these facts?
I think that you have a censor the video, it's a incorrect way of describing it. That's Mr. Franco's time?
Yes.
Thank you. The video was redacted and we know that because there was some part that was redacted and they were put right when it was done, it was put on the city website. And you have the original video. Did you post it in your the Brunswick Today magazine, newspaper? You have it, so we're not censoring.
You did. You absolutely did. You took the video and you took the part where we talked about this and you removed the audio so no one could hear what was being said for a full minute. Everybody who watches it will see that.
So,
Why did you do that?
thank you. That's based on legal advice, so thank you so much. And
You need some better advisors.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Devils.
We working at that quality to
Good afternoon, Mr. Folks. I got a couple of questions and concerns. I came through a couple of council meetings, called myself advocating for myself, and that didn't go to, really nowhere. I was in communication with a Mr. Keith Jones, and where I'm going with it is that I'm looking at programs for reentry, and it seems that no one cares about those programs. I'm going to reach and say possibly no one in this room probably cares about those programs as far as reentry programs and things of that nature. As far as training and employment services, it's almost a pick and choose. And I'm looking at how is that? And it's quite funny that a lot of people that come to this mic, including the lady, is mentioning things of discrimination. Are these claims jokes of discrimination? Are they jokes? Are they laughable matters? Whereas though these things are repetitive, and why are they repetitive when they should be minimized? You know, with you guys up here overseeing these things. You know, I would assume that you oversee these things that's being passed as far as reentry programs, training employment programs, things of that nature. I don't know. I was just in communication with Mr. Keith Jones about something simple as the Dignity Center, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, supplemental Saturday, these days when people go utilize it, whereas just Tuesday and Friday. Who thought of that? What professional person thought of that? Tuesday and Friday, and that's it for people that need those services, when we could just say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, forget about it. We don't have to have this conversation no more. Supplemental Saturdays. You know, why are these decisions being made of the majority of people that need these services within the New Brunswick, whereas though it's almost like you don't care nothing about these citizens? You know, even to the one that's below the poverty line, in between it, the only thing it seems like you care about people at your level and what you can get. And the money that's being dispersed to all these different people that I don't even think they need all the money that's being approved that's in these papers. When can we really have a real conversation and get answers? Because it looked like everyone up here had a pre-conversation before coming to this meeting and agreed that everything would be approved regardless of what anybody behind this mic says. Is that the case? I'm just looking for answers. As a concerned citizen, I'm looking for answers that when we leave this area, y'all go back to y'all abode and discuss these things and pre-approve regardless of what any of the citizens would ever care or anything. And how long is this gonna keep going on?
Not long, baby.
You know, how long? And regardless, I mean, I believe in the creator, but let's put the creator to the side. And put it on the responsible people, you know, that have a moral responsibility that's just dropping the ball or deaf. And I'm looking, which one is it? When can we have this real conversation that these actionable things can be done? Something simple as saying, let's schedule something where we don't have to worry about it again. You know, re-entry. You know, I was told that there was something being done as far as case management, computer, phone, whatever the case may be that's needed as a one-stop shop. Just like I hear that's in Perth Amboy, if I'm not mistaken, but this is the capital. New Brunswick is the capital that should have these things, whereas though we don't have to worry about it, have these conversations again. So, you know, I'm looking at what's being done, who's making the decisions. And if I can talk to them, or they can come talk to me, or, you know, the people that need these services as far as reentry. You know, where are they? You know, anybody can raise their hand just to start this conversation, so it won't be on deaf ears.
Reentry services, there was the Reentry Services Corporation, they just moved to Cataract. They were here in New Brunswick for many years. But I have some information that I could give you after, because I do work in reentry programs for young people. So I have a few of adults, some information that I could provide you at the end of the meeting. I give you some of that, and we could have a conversation on what's available.
Okay, and I would just like to add, currently I'm involved with said services, but I'm being prolonged and stalled for reasons I can't explain and don't know. Whereas though I have questions and concerns about it, because on average, any U.S. citizen, I guess foreign or domestic, that came into the country had access to these services. So being as though I qualify, I'm looking as to why I don't have access to these services. In the time period that has been that I've been involved with these services, I would like to see what you can do, or the conversation you can start to assist me in moving forward.
I'll talk to you right after the meeting, thank you.
Okay,
I'll
thank
get on with that.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Having none?
Second.
Councilmember Anderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Castaneda, Councilmember Fleming,
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskins,
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig,
Yes.
Council Vice President Egan,
Yes.
Council President Escobar.
Yes, thank you.